It's traveling separately. It's really kind of fun. I'm enjoying my time, my space, doing things when I want to, how I want to.
Subscribe to our channel for more Zeke and Terri adventures.
Welcome to Strasbourg. I'm finally in the Petite Airbnb that I rented that is not too far from the river. Just out on the river, I can see over to the main cathedral. I can see the spires, so I'm gonna go check that out. I've been here for about a half an hour and I've managed to unpack and assess the situation. Kitchen is a little minimal, so I don't think I'm gonna be cooking, which is fine. I just need to go buy a blender and stuff to make my smoothies in the morning. I set myself up here at the counter. Hopefully these stools are comfortable. It has a nice little living room. The bedroom is perfect just for me. It is pretty cute. I like the wallpaper. It looks like there are shops and restaurants that are just like 100 feet away. I did have a little bit of trouble getting in here because I'm in between a bunch of buildings. The cellular reception was non-existent. So after farting around with my phone for a while, I walked back out towards the river, managed to get access and screenshotted the code so I could get the key so I could get into the place. I am up on the first floor, which would be the second floor back in the States. It's a curved wooden staircase. That was fun taking the bags up, but I managed to do it. My watch is only showing 6 flights of stairs, but I guarantee I have walked a lot more flights of stairs. I don't think it's very accurate. But now that I'm all unpacked and situated, I am gonna go explore and see what's around here. I am really excited. The weather is fantastic. I was so warm, so I had to change, and I'm really excited to go see what else is around here. It's Sunday morning in Strasbourg, and I'm getting a little bit of a late start getting out. I need to get to the grocery store. I did find a BO yesterday when I went out and explored for a couple of hours. I also managed to pick up a little Ninja blender. It's a portable blender, and what's really great about it is it plugs into a USB port, so I can use it anywhere in the world. I was a little bit concerned that I was gonna have another device that could be used only in Europe. So now I've got to head out to get some breakfast. There is no food here. At this point, I am really, really hungry, and I'm going to have to decide, am I gonna go do brunch at one of the places that's right along the promenade on the river, or just get a croissant and a coffee and get my grocery shopping done. I'm really fortunate. This apartment that I'm in is so perfectly located. I did a big loop yesterday, walked around La Petite France, the old town. It's just, the architecture is beautiful. There are a ton of tourists here, which is not surprising. This area attracts people from all over the world. I had dinner at looked like a lovely mom and pop place called La Table Christophe, and dinner was super yummy, and I was in great shape until about halfway through, at which point I was really struggling to stay awake, still dealing with jet lag. It was good. I was productive for about 3 hours in the middle of the night. I decided I just couldn't sleep. So I did come out to my workspace. Internet is a bit of a challenge, but I have identified a co-working space to check out tomorrow. I was looking for a gym as I was wandering around. I did find a Monoprix, but I didn't find a gym. I did stumble into, on the promenade last night, I think Hoka was doing some sort of a race event, and people were lining up, maybe 10 or 12 people at a time, to race along the promenade. And that was kind of fun to see at 8:30 at night on a Saturday night. Just down the river for me, and I can't remember which river this is, there are a couple of boats that have been converted into bars and restaurants. And last night the weather was gorgeous. People were out there enjoying dinner and drinks, and it felt not touristy. It actually felt pretty neighborhoody. So the one way that I went ended up being more of a tourist area. So I'm gonna go the opposite way today to see if I can find more of the local places. The co-work space is actually behind, away from Old Town. So I know that should not be in the tourist area. While I was awake in the middle of the night, I pulled out my bingo card that I put together for Strasbourg and mapped out when places are open, when they're closed. I don't know if you can hear that. That's the cathedral bells behind me. Another thing is this year, it's a lot more expensive to be here in Europe. The exchange rate is about 0.85 euros to every dollar, and that's making it a little not fun as I'm running through and doing a cost summary of our trip. Wow, that's really pretty. I've also been listening to a couple of our viewers who are interested in coming to the Alsace area, specifically to Strasbourg, so I'm checking it out. So for those of you who are interested in some of the places that we visit and want to know more about them, please feel free to reach out. So go ahead and send us an email at zekeandterri@gmail.com, or you can go to our website at zekeandterri.com and just put in a message on the contact page. But now it's time to go get some food, go check out the other part of the neighborhood, and we'll see how the day progresses. So after a lovely cappuccino and an almond croissant, because that's all they had, they were out of regular croissants, managed to walk around, found the bio, and got some of the items that I was looking for. I ended up having to walk around a lot of other places to be able to get produce because they didn't really have much at the bio. But, I have some smushed peaches. I was looking for some berries, but could not find any. They must only have stuff that's in season, and berries must be out of season. And the tiniest ginger. So did manage to find protein powder and some flax seeds. Ooh, those are gonna get gross. Some acai packets, some skyr instead of Greek yogurt. I didn't see any Greek yogurt, and an avocado. And then I went in and bought myself a baguette. I don't have any butter for it, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I also got myself some collagen. Oh, it's covered with peaches. The area going that way is not all that great. So for Brian, who's looking at maybe moving here, so far, not a fan. I would choose Bordeaux over Strasbourg. But we're gonna go ahead and try to give this blender a try and see what sort of a smoothie I can come up with to get the protein and the fiber that it is that I'm looking for. I feel like this is a science experiment. I don't think I can drink it if it's this color. Okay, well, bottoms up. Yep, that's gonna be, I'm gonna have to work on that. That's pretty gross. After spending the day working here at the apartment and also getting a really nice nap, I managed to check something off the bingo card when I walked into the Old Town and went to a place called, I think, Vieux Strasbourg. Totally cute, totally quaint, and I had the back off, which was trois viandes, or 3 meats that were cooked in Riesling with some potatoes and some carrots. It was really tasty. But the very best part was I ended up sitting next to these 2 women who were over the age of 60, who were from Berlin, and they started talking to me. And one spoke French and German, the other one spoke German and a little bit of English. And so with the 3 languages, we had a lovely, lovely conversation. So if Connie and Suzanne, if you're watching, it was so nice to meet you. It was a lot of fun. They're headed back to Berlin tomorrow, but they've been in Strasbourg for about 5 days. And this is one of the things that I love actually about traveling solo is you never know who might start talking to you and what you might learn from them. Suzanne loves museums, so we compared notes on some of our favorite places in Vienna, in Munich, in Strasbourg, and so I have some suggestions on some places to go. I just got off the phone with Zeke, who is exhausted. He's been up since 3:30 a.m. and it's about 9:30 p.m. and he was just circling the drain. Everybody else was already asleep. I think they made it 44 miles today with some light rain, which isn't really fun, but he seems to be in one piece. I also managed to talk to our youngest, who is at University of Vermont. Hadn't really talked to them in a couple weeks, so it was good to catch up. And now I've got a couple more hours worth of work to do before I try to get some sleep as well. Tomorrow I'm gonna go try to find the co-working space and get some work done with hopefully some better internet, get a croissant and cappuccino, and just explore more of Strasbourg to see what it's like to live and to work here.
While I woke up to the children playing near the school behind the apartment, I spent the entire day sleeping and reading in bed, subsisting on water and a stale baguette before going out for sushi at 8:30 at night. It was so gorgeous out that after dinner I couldn't resist taking a stroll.
It's a Tuesday morning and I am heading out to get a croissant and cappuccino after working for a couple of hours here at the apartment, and also letting the folks know that the internet is working intermittently. Can't believe I'm dealing with this again like we did in Bordeaux. After the cafe, where I'm hoping to journal and enjoy the sunshine because it's going to be about 65 degrees outside and it looks beautiful, I'm headed over to the Modern and Contemporary Art Museum before I then jump back a couple centuries and head over to the Strasbourg Cathedral. Last night I was able to see it lit up and it was my first look at it and it was extraordinary. So I'm really excited to see it during the day when it's bustling, because it was 10 o'clock last night when I was down there, and also be able to go inside and then go into the museum that is associated with it. I'm pretty excited about that too. As for anything else, I don't know. I need to go get some more groceries and I don't know, hopefully deal with the Wi-Fi issue. So come on, let's go. I just finished going through the Modern Art Museum and I was really excited to see that there was a Niki de Saint-Phalle, but apparently she's on loan elsewhere and they couldn't tell me which museum. Cool building, 45 minutes to an hour, modern and contemporary pieces. Now I am going to try to find a way to take the tram, or I'll just walk back because it's still very, very nice outside. But I need to find some lunch. So, allons-y. just had lunch at a cute little place called La Petite Marie, and I swear everybody in there was either from the same company or maybe from the same government office. And then I realized I was near Hotel de Ville, so they're probably from the Marie, the mayor's office. Super tasty. I was hoping to get the tarte flambée, but they only do it at night, le soir. So I had something that resembled our family's creamy baked chicken. It was actually really, really good. And I spoke French the entire time. And now it is time to go and get some groceries.
While I did say I was going to go and get groceries, I decided to take the long way around, somewhat looking for a post office. After crossing the Canal de Faux Rempart, I saw the Théâtre National de Strasbourg and walked in to ask about tickets for the latest show, which unfortunately was sold out. Across the street was the Place de la République, and I absolutely loved the grounds, especially the flowers. And just across the street from the Place is the Fontaine de Janus. At this point, I was trying to get back to the apartment and walked past the Opera Building and the Place de Broglie, which I found quite lovely. What I didn't realize was that I was essentially a block or so away from the cathedral, and of course, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to check it out. I'd read that it closed from 12 to 2 every day, but saw a line of people around 2 o'clock waiting to get in and joined the line, which turned out to be a security check for our bags. I thought it was going to be crowded given the size of the line, but it's so ginormous inside that it did not feel remotely crowded. I've been in more than a few Notre-Dames before, including Paris and Rennes, and this was one of the largest I'd ever seen. The stained glass windows were extraordinary. I don't recall seeing that level of detail before, and they were stunning. I especially loved the 14th century rose stained glass window with the green and yellow glass, which I don't generally see. After a little research, I learned that it was because the green and yellow were the result of a new technique in the Alsace region that started with this cathedral. Right across the plaza from the cathedral is the Musée du Louvre Notre-Dame that I absolutely loved, and I was one of only 6 people in the place. The buildings that make up the museum originally housed the cathedral's builders and now have 7 centuries of art from the cathedral, including statues, architectural pieces, and stained glass up until about 1681. The left wing of the museum is Gothic architecture from the year 1347, and the right wing is Renaissance from 1579. As you walk through the centuries of art, you move through the different buildings, which was as interesting as the art. It was like the IKEA of museums that kept going and going and going, and unfortunately I was running out of battery on my phone, and at this point had pretty much maxed out on what I could absorb. After a quick nap and charging my phone, I swung by the Biocoup for groceries.
Because today I marked off the Modern Museum, the Cathédrale de Strasbourg, Place Kléber, Place de République, Musée du Louvre Notre-Dame, Musée Alsacien. I walked by it, but it was closed. Tomorrow, do I work or do I go to the Palais du Rohan museums, because there are 3, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna work tomorrow. Friday I'll go to those 3 museums, which are literally right across the river. I can't believe how perfectly situated this place is, and I've contacted them about the Wi-Fi. I've unplugged the router, plugged it back in. It's not getting any better. Oh well, c'est la vie. Actually, they don't say that in France, so oh well. I'll go to the co-working place tomorrow. It'll be good for me to meet with other people. My friend Jacqueline said that she thought within 3 days I would have met people and be going out to drinks, and I've been pretty solitary. Well, I'm glad I have a walk back to the apartment. The walkway through the Palais du Rohan Place is closed, but my belly is full. I went to Schatzi's, which was open at 10 o'clock at night, for tarte flambée, which did not disappoint. Oh my God, it might be one of my new favorite foods. I even got a dessert with banana and Nutella. I'm pretty sure the tarte flambée is the Alsatian version of the Normandy crepe. Oh my God, the cathedral is just so beautiful, but you gotta see this. It's 5 p.m. and I am just getting out for the day, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I think I probably missed the best day of the 2 weeks here in Strasbourg, but that's okay. I had some writing to do. I had some videos to record. I had to get something to Cal State East Bay for a talk that I'm giving in a recorded talk that I'm giving. And I feel much better getting all of that out of the way. And even though there are strikes tomorrow, it's just going to affect transportation and everything else should be open. But I think rain's coming. But I don't know. Am I going to go to the cathedral? Am I going to go to... I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's go.
I decided to go to the Musée de Beaux-Arts in the Palais du Rohan, one of the 3 museums in the palace. I didn't know how big it was, and I had less than an hour before it closed, so I quickly walked through until I got to the end, and then backtracked to look again at a few pieces, including this still life with peeled lemon and a nautilus. I think there were more security guards in the museum than visitors, which was awesome, and afterward I sat outside in the courtyard enjoying the views of the cathedral and the nice weather from a different vantage point. Eager to cross off a few more items on the bingo card, I walked towards Place Gutenberg toward Petite France.
Behind me is the Église de Saint-Thomas, which is a Lutheran church here. It is also known as the Protestant Cathedral of Strasbourg. Thought that was interesting. It's Thursday morning. In fact, it's almost Thursday afternoon. I'm getting a little bit of a late start again this morning. Had social media to work on, some other personal admin stuff to do. My sleep schedule is still completely upside down. I hope that Zeke is doing better because he's climbing Stelvio today. And last I heard, he had 37 switchbacks left to go. That sounds truly, truly miserable. But time to get out, see some more of Strasbourg, and then think about what I want to do next week in terms of field trips. It's going to rain, so I have to keep that in mind, but it's not supposed to be cold. So anyway, allons-y. One of the cool things about Strasbourg's museums is that you can get a day pass for, I think, 16 euros, and you can get access to all of the museums that are open for the day. So at 11:30 when I left the apartment, I headed straight over to the Palais du Rohan in order to go to the Archeology Museum as well as the Decorative Arts Museum. I managed to go through all 3 of the museums at the Palais du Rohan. The Archeology Museum was fine. I think I'm going to start doing reviews on museums. Then the Decorative Arts portion of the museum was basically the palace furnished, which was very cool. I love going into museums or going into palaces and seeing them set up how they were set up way back in the day. So you can see the furnishings, you can see the decorations, you can see the clock. But once I finished the archaeology one and then the decorative arts one, then I popped upstairs to the Beaux-Arts section and got an audio guide and just went to some specific pieces and just enjoyed it. But before I even got to the Palais du Rohan, there was a big kind of military thing that was happening in the Place that was just outside the Palais du Rohan that was right up against the cathedral. There was, it looks like a marching band or a band of some sort that was playing. It explained why there was a grandstand that was set up, but it was turned out it was for this whole military thing. I think it had to do with like Europa and NATO. I couldn't really read from the banner. Most of it was in English, which surprised me, and it sounded like somebody who was American. I also don't know if that was related to the protests or the strikes that are happening today across France. I didn't see any evidence of it until later in the day when I was walking back to the apartment. I saw lots of people marching, they had flags, they were singing, there was a bunch of music, I heard firecrackers. Later on, I saw some police with riot gear, but they were way behind where the procession was, so I'm not sure if they were expecting any sort of altercations or issues, but that was really fascinating. Much smaller scale than what I've seen on the news in Paris, but it's interesting to be in France to see these kinds of manifestation or protests that are happening for them to influence what they want done at the national level. Specifically right now with regards to the austere budget cuts and measures that the government is trying to put into place. After the Palais du Rohan, I just walked right over to the cathedral, got in line. That line moves really, really quickly. I was hoping to be able to sit and look at the rose window, the big rose window with the green and yellow glass. And I loved that I was able to just walk in, enjoy what I wanted to enjoy, and then be able to go walk right out. At this point, I have pretty much walked everywhere in Strasbourg. I needed to get some lunch. It was about 1:30, and most of the places, unless they have continued service, are open from 12 to 2. I didn't want to go to only a tourist place, so I walked kind of off into a different area, had some lunch. It was fine, and then walked back and took advantage of my day pass to go to the Musée de Louvre de Notre-Dame. And it was fantastic. I might have been one of the only people in there. Afterwards, I tried asking them, why aren't there very many people here? This is an incredible museum. Got the audio guide, focused on a few things. Since now I know the size of the museum, I know I don't have to pace myself and I can just focus on a couple of things. One of the things that we've noticed in France that the French museums do very, very well. They do a really good job with augmenting with technology, whether it's showing little movies that show how things are built. There were a couple of places where you could put on a VR headset and you could see on the cathedral where, let's say, some of the statues were originally placed, but now they're in this particular museum. Or one of them allowed me to be at the top of one of the spires and looking down, and that was just so incredibly cool. I like these augmented technologies so that you can have a more immersive experience when it comes to art. I also stopped in at the Obet 1928 Museum, which really isn't a museum, it's an event space. It was built back in the 1920s. It was built as a social space. It was open 24 hours a day, and there was cinema, and there was music, and there was dancing, and it was like a social club for people to go to. And some of the artists that I learned about at the Modern Museum the other day, they were instrumental in the building and the functioning of this particular space. But now it's time to talk to Zeke. He did Stelvio today, and I can't wait to hear how that went. Last I heard, they were still walking around, the town that that two of them are staying in tonight. Traveling separately, it's really kind of fun. I'm enjoying my time, my space, doing things when I want to, how I want to. But I am looking forward to connecting with him for our next adventure, which I still have to plan. I also need to plan next week. Even though it's going to be raining, I think I have exhausted things to do here, and it's just a matter of either I'm just going to work, I've got a lot of writing to do, or I take a train and go to Lake Colmar and exhaust the Alsace region, which means I'm back thinking about us going over into central France and the Loire Valley instead of bringing Zeke back up here. So many choices, but I don't have to decide today.
My first week in Strasbourg was spent exploring Strasbourg, which I truly enjoyed, including seeing this political piece in Place Kléber, designed to humanize the genocide in Gaza. I spent the majority of the week working at a co-working space near the apartment, while also enjoying the gastronomic delights available in Strasbourg, which you can see here. One day, I took the train to Colmar and fell in love with the charming and colorful town, which you can see in a recent video. I also started working with a young French tutor, Manel, and with her as my guide, we rented a car and drove along the Alsace wine route, beginning with visiting Chateau de Haute Königsberg. We then went to the totally touristy Ribeauville and Ricavere before ending in the truly beautiful and non-touristy Kaisersberg, which Manel considers her hometown. It was a fantastic day despite the rain. If you are ever in Strasbourg, you have to go to the Bains Municipaux. The real draw is the Roman bath and what they call the hammam. Steam, sauna, cold plunge, pools, and even a snow shower. I was sad I didn't discover it sooner.
So right now it is Saturday morning. It's, 7:30 in the morning. I have just cleaned up all the dishes. I've had my breakfast. I've taken a shower. I've got to do my hair. Zeke just landed in Munich. I think he said he was going to go to Frankfurt. And then I looked at our calendar that said Munich. So it was like, dude, make sure you know where you're going. But he got on the right plane, he landed, and I am really excited because I get to see him in more than a couple of hours. It won't be until probably 1:15, 1:30. I get to sit on a train while he gets to sit in an airport and then get on another plane and then take a Bolt or a taxi over to the train station in Lyon where we're gonna meet up. And I miss him. I miss my travel buddy. I miss being able to, not have all sorts of other people around when we want to talk, or our schedules being completely off, because he ended up going to bed a lot earlier when he was writing. I was just going out to dinner when I had time. He was having dinner, and that just makes it really hard to stay connected as a couple. I feel giddy like a schoolgirl, but I'm gonna finish packing, take the garbage out. I'm a little nervous about taking the garbage out. There's a lot. I haven't emptied it in 2 weeks, but time to go.